Alright, I hear the Crosley spy plane making a flyover. And yes, today we have a real Crosley. This is not a Chinese piece of crap from 2019. This is a Crosley 5er, model 515 from about 1935-ish, 36, somewhere around in there. It's got a decent cabinet. Chassis looks nice. Has a replacement power cord on it, so obviously somebody's worked on it. The shielded cable coming out the back, I don't know what that's all about. Maybe somebody had an external audio source wired into this. The person I bought it from tells me it's dead, and we'll find that out, but not today. Today, I'm going to talk about the post office and why you shouldn't use them. On August the 17th, a record player that I bought off of eBay was actually shipped to me from Pennsylvania and was supposed to arrive here at my residence on August the 22nd. Well, of course that didn't happen. It left the Pennsylvania sorting facility, and all I'm seeing now is in transit, arriving late. Well, gee, geniuses, do you think I hadn't already figured out that it's arriving late by now? Why don't you give me some news that I can actually use? Well, I'll say this. The lady who sold me the record player has been very on top of things as far as communicating with the post office and conveying her findings back to me. And sadly, everything up to this point hasn't really been any more than what we already know, but her latest communication with me was that she spoke with the postmaster at her local post office, and he admitted to her that not only was COVID-19 slowing things down, but politics was slowing things down as well. Now, I've heard a lot of talk about this new postmaster that Trump put up there, slowing the mail down and derailing the post office, so election ballots will be late and won't be counted. Now, I don't know one way or another. I'll tell you, I'm not a huge Trump fan, and I'm not a Biden fan either, so where does that leave us? Just my own opinion, but I think really the last decent president we had in my lifetime was probably Ronald Reagan. But anyway, the story gets even better. He told her that most likely that my package, and by the way, he did put a trace on it, and he's not finding out anything more on the tracking than what we're finding out. But he said my package more than likely is sitting in a storage facility. What? Storage facility? The post office is supposed to be moving packages, not storing them. And he said someday the package might very well be delivered, but the chances are high that that package will never be seen again, at least not by you or the guy who's supposed to be getting it. So she told me that she's going to go through the post office and try to recoup some of her money, and then she's going to issue me a full refund on the record player, and then if it ever shows up, then I can just keep it as a gift. So if that little story won't convince you not to use the post office, then I don't think anything will. I mean, yeah, years ago they used to be a good organization, a good company, but over the past several years their rates have been constantly going up, while the whole time they're still moaning about not having enough money, and the quality of service keeps going down. And when I ship something, I expect it to be delivered in a timely manner, not be 17 days later and still no package and no hopes of getting it, but yet they had no problem with taking my money for the shipping. And I know FedEx and UPS have their own set of problems. I get that. I've had my issues with them too. I know people call UPS United Parcel Smashers, and there may be some truth to that, but to be honest, everything I've had arrive here that was smashed was packed extremely poorly, so we can't say how it would have shown up had it been packed right, but I've had way better luck out of FedEx than I have the post office. In fact, FedEx has had this radio came to me from somewhere down in South Florida to Mississippi, and it only took 3 days to get it here. Had another package come to me from Washington State, FedEx, and I think it took 6 or 7 days to get it here, which in the grand scheme of things, that's not too terribly bad. But meanwhile, the post office keeps screwing up. So, there you go. Just a little heads up, if you have anything that needs to be shipped, it's probably best just to use FedEx or UPS or some other carrier besides the post office, because if you use them right now, there's a good chance it's not going to get to where it needs to be. And if they can't be trusted with packages, what makes you think they can be trusted with ballots? I know if the good Lord allows me to live until Election Day, I'm going to be marching my butt right in a physical polling place and casting my vote like I've been doing for the past, however many years since I've been voting. And yes, I know the traditional type system can be fouled up too, but I just don't have much faith in the post office. And as far as paying bills, I was probably one of the last ones to pay bills by actually sending in a physical check every month. But when all this COVID-19 stuff started happening, I started paying my bills online like most everybody else does, and it cuts down on having to buy stamps and waiting in a long line at the post office, and cuts down on the number of checks used. And by the way, they're not exactly giving those checks away anymore. In fact, they've gone up on the price of those and are getting real stingy on the number they send you. So, and nothing burns me up than to go in the post office on the 1st of the month when they know it's going to be the busiest time of the month, when everybody and their brother up in there buying postal money orders to pay bills, but yet they got one freaking window open. So now that I'm paying things online, I won't have to deal with that so much. But yeah, that's the current state of the post office right now. And I know there's plenty of other quote-unquote USPS sucks videos on YouTube right now. You can add mine to the list. Alright, one day we'll tear into this and see what we can do with it. But right now, I've got to get over fuming over the post office.